I see you out there, everybody. Welcome aboard. We're going to be going live right about 7 o'clock. Miguel's waiting, standing by in the wings. And we'll kick this show off. If you've got any questions or anything you'd like to ask Miguel during this interview, just put it in the comments on either the Facebook calendar event. Maybe you send them to Miguel directly. Or on the YouTube. I'll be multi-streaming here. We're on YouTube live at the same time. So we're hoping for about 7 o'clock kickoff. Hope those by Lake Palm de Terre and Hermitage and stuff are doing all right. We do have some listeners up that way. Looks like you got hammered pretty hard with some storms. So keep your thoughts for those folks out there. So we'll be back with you in a few minutes. Say, what time is it? 9 minutes? So stay tuned. Good evening, everybody. Doug Fowler here, broadcasting from the undeclared capital of South Central Missouri, St. Robert, gateway to Fort Leonard Wood. Miguel will be joining us here shortly. He's waiting on the sidelines, waiting for me to bring him in. So if you'll give me a second, and I'm going to dial him up. Hope everybody's doing a good time. If you got any questions you want to ask the candidate, he's a candidate for we got now. Just a word of caution. There may be some slippage and some use of some language that may offend some people. That is not my intent to offend people. But with the feelings, issues, and stuff being hurt today by some people, I'm getting kind of tired of it. So if I hurt your feelings, that is unintentional. If I offend you with some language that I put forth and stuff like that, it's not personal. It's just sometimes you get frustrated with that. So I got Miguel coming in. Miguel, you're out there with me?
That's right. I'm here.
We have got connectivity. Outstanding. We got him dialed in. So we got people listening far and abroad. I think we got some storms hitting up. You live in Waynesville, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think you're safe. I just happened to check the weather, and it looked like Hermitage and Palm de Terre area gotten smashed pretty good. So how you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
I see. Well, you've been around. You've been busy. Been publishing. Been putting videos out. What's your latest thing? What's your latest activity you've been focused on?
The latest thing that I've really been focused on is that income tax swap that the legislature's trying to push.
Goodness gracious! You had to start out hard, didn't you?
Yeah. So like the governor, essentially, this is like his baby project. And it's just swapping income tax for another tax with sales tax. And it's a bad idea all around.
You know, I did the math with this, and me and a couple of friends, a couple of smart people that live with two initials called A and I. And I went round and round, and we could not make the math add up with the amount of revenue without the now, and that's if I'm understanding everything right. We could not make the math that out without burdening the lower class income earners severely. Is that the way you see it?
Yeah, absolutely. Even the Missouri Budget Project and the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy, they both agree that this is only going to benefit people that make roughly $300,000 a year.
That's exactly the number I came up with.
Yeah. And not only are they wanting to raise sales tax, they're wanting to expand the things that are actually able to be taxed. So I think there's an amendment that was voted on in 2015, 2016, something around there, that limited the expansion of sales tax.
Right. I read that.
That things can be charged taxes on. And the goal for them is to eliminate that, and then just give power to the state legislature to raise sales taxes whenever they deem necessary.
Wow. And what's sad about this is eerily similar to the last time the people spoke, overrode the will of the House, and they did it anyway. And this is what it smells like to me. Nobody wants to talk about it on either side on the other side of the aisle that I've tried to reach out to. Nobody wants to comment on it, even though they voted on it. Yep. Who will be your predecessor and those who in 124? You're 121?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, so in 124. And it also reeks eerily of the SAVE Act coming from the president. Mm-hmm. It's a pet project, and he's firm and committed to this being his reality, that they need this bill without doing any numbers. When in fact there's the amount of immigration laws being broken with voting acts and stuff like that is so minuscule that there's not a logical basis for doing this. Yet you have all the pundits and all the MAGA, our two senators, our two MAGAs, and all those that are supported are just lining up behind it.
Yeah, and I mean, even the Heritage Foundation.
Yes,
it's like they're their organization, I guess I would call it. Even they said that there's like 30 cases of voter fraud in the past 50 years, something like
across
that.
the
Or not
country.
50, yeah, but like a very, very small amount.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's trying to solve a problem that's not really a problem.
Yeah.
And while, nobody agrees
Right.
with voter fraud,
It's
this is like this is like chopping your hand off if you get a scrape on your finger.
it is just irritating, and then they just line up, and the same thing's happening with the governor's proposal with the sales tax and income tax.
Mm-hmm.
He's just convinced that this is the way to go because Tennessee supposedly did it, and they think it's working. It's not. It's not. Yeah. And I've looked at the data. Tennessee, it's not working for Tennessee.
I've talked to a couple people
did
that are
you really?
from Tennessee, and they're like, sales tax is higher there.
Yeah.
And I looked at it myself. State sales tax in Tennessee is 7%.
Yeah.
So it beats ours by almost 3%.
And
So,
it isn't so much
mean,
that the sales tax is higher; it's just the level of impact that has upon those paying that sales tax.
Yeah,
If you got a young soldier going off post to get a haircut, was charging them $50 now on the average haircut. Add another 20 or 10% to that, another $5, $10, whatever it may be. That soldier, that impacts him a lot in a young family. Yeah. While somebody that's retired military, in our case, Fort Leonard Wood area, it's been retired sergeant major or colonel, been retired GS system, rolling in the dough, doing great, earned it, deserve it, got it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't affect them because they're under that 300. They're over that 300K mark. That'll benefit them, but it's going to burden those that make it less than that.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
One thing that I've talked about people is like single parents. Single parents have to juggle a job. They have to juggle childcare, and they have to juggle transportation. And whenever we expand sales tax in those categories, it's going to affect those people. Those people are going to have a harder time getting to work. They're going to have a harder time affording childcare. It's going to take up more of their budget, and they're going to be able to provide less for their children.
And the biggest chunk, they don't, that big pie they have, their budget pie may look good on paper, it's big, but the numbers aren't there. It isn't like my budget or somebody that's retired or somebody that's been around a long time. That's we've been in where we had paychecks of $268 a month when I was a private with 4 kids, and by God, she made it work. That's all I can say. She made it work.
I was talking to a guy at the American Legion, and I think he was probably about 70 something, somewhere around there. But he was like, if I was still a private, there's no way that I would be able to afford to put food on the table if sales tax went up. It just would be almost like unfeasible. You'd have to go and get an AER loan or something
every payday
to try and put food on the table, which is ridiculous.
And it seems to me from the landscape, or at least from the perspective in Foxhole that I'm looking from, nobody's listening on the other side. They do the late night bargaining shift and they push the bill through in the Senate.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit what you found out about that.
About them talking in the Senate?
No, the Senate passing that bill late at night so nobody knows. The sneaky crap.
So the Senate has audio only for their recordings, so there's no video or anything like that. You can't see if people are talking together or doing anything. It's only audio. So you lose a lot of perspective that you would normally have in the House chamber, where you can see everything that's going on. You can see how people are moving, how people are interacting.
Right. They got the debate.
And something that bothered me, frankly, as a Democrat, is that the Democrats there, even though we knew we were fighting a losing battle in the Senate to keep this from passing, nobody stood up to say anything. And it doesn't matter if we're losing that battle, we need to stand up and be vocal, because the only way people are going to know about this terrible plan is if we stand up and we say something. So I've posted about it 3 or 4 times now. Sure. Just to spread information. And, I try not to beat a dead horse, but this is so important. It will affect 80% of our population here in the state of Missouri. And then they don't even account for the people that live on borders, people that live in St. Louis or Kansas City. How many people live in those areas and could just cross the border and avoid that sales tax? And it will harm revenue in such a way that it's just unavoidable. But the Senate passed that in the middle of the night, and it was just why in the middle of the night?
Yeah.
If this was reasonable, you could have done it in the middle of the day. People could have attended it. I heard somebody say that the doors were locked to the Senate chambers, so nobody could go.
Googly moogly.
Yeah.
Wow, that says a lot to the other side of the aisle. We're firmly independent, but that's just nonsense, and it just drives me nuts that nobody's standing up. I don't hear anybody. The local politicians do it. Bill Hardwick, he voted for it. Don Mayer did it.
Bill was absent for the most recent vote.
Oh, for the most, but he voted for the ones that I looked at. The initial vote. Yeah, he voted on both of them, and or the ones that I seen, but he did not vote against it. Let me say that.
Yeah, that's a very fair critique, honestly, and for him not to be in the area, out of state at a convention during session, nonetheless. I mean, session is what 5-6 months out of the year. You should have been there.
Yeah, for this, at least talked about it. Give me a second. Just for everyone's attention, just got a text message. We are underneath a tornado watch in Pulaski County. Not a tornado warning, a tornado watch. And hold on, I got my mom trying to call me. Bad time, Mom. Sorry, got to go. Just so everybody's safe out there is a tornado watch. Be careful. Keep an eye out and watch the news. Watch for the weather. So, moving on. If you win this, looking at some warnings, make sure nothing's affecting us. And once again, everyone listening at home and few and far away, if you have any questions for Miguel, post them on the comments section. Email them directly to him. Send them to him on his Facebook page, and we'll try to get it. The fastest way is to comment on this video, on this live video stream. I can see it right here, and everybody else can see your questions, and we try to answer them in real time. So, the next question I got now, you're going into it's a hostile territory if you win this thing. What's the ratio?
Well, this year we are contesting 95% of the House.
I read that. Where did I read that? Yeah, it's like the biggest Democratic turnout for the elections in decades.
The biggest one this century. So
wow.
We are tired of seeing them just pass the torch on to the next Republican.
How long have they been in charge?
20 years at least.
20 years.
20 years, yeah.
And every time I think of that 20 years, I think of that capital gains tax with the cancellation that they're suffering through right now. They can't even make up the funding for the capital gains tax snafu.
Yeah, this year they tried to cut self-directed services.
Yeah.
They tried to cut the child care subsidies. And it just shows that they cut these things without a plan, and they didn't think about what it was actually going to cost, other than the fiscal benefit for whoever benefits from capital gains. I think we all know who benefits from that.
It ain't the private.
Yeah, exactly. It's not.
It isn't the young, just like the individual you cited, the single mom at home with two kids does not have a capital gains tax problem. Wow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they can't make up the shortfall that was lost with that, so now they're trying to figure out how to fund education. And so if they do away with the income tax, which right now, if my numbers are right, 65% of our budget in Missouri is covered by income tax.
I believe so.
I
believe that's what I've read.
So if they wipe that off the table, they're just going to snap in 65% of income taxes or sales taxes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And it's crazy that they are selling it as an elimination, right?
Yeah.
They frame it as we're getting rid of this tax.
We won't. But you don't pay the income tax.
Getting rid of that, but they're going to give you another tax. They're going to implement another tax on you, and this other tax is going to eat at your wallet. It's going to eat at everything.
Yeah, everything you pay for is going to have a tax on, even the services.
Yeah,
Well, we don't
absolutely.
pay taxes. Think of that. First, my son's a barber, and so I think of how many clients he comes through, and he's going to have to figure out now, the barber or the small business owner or the small service provider, lawns care, all these other groups are now going to have to figure out how to calculate collecting that new sales tax, which is a burden upon the sales. Otherwise they're just collecting cash and paying the income tax on it.
Yeah.
So it's not only a burden on the person paying the money out, but a person now it's got to collect the money.
Yeah.
And they say, well, they should have been done that all the time. No, they don't have to, because they take that sales tax collection out of the income they make. They got quarterly checks to the state.
Yeah.
It's just nowhere have I looked where it makes sense at all. Let's drive on to the next step. Okay, we got Fort Leonard military families here now. Makes up how many? I think 75% of our student load at Waynesville High School's independence. Is that about what? Am I right with that?
I'm not 100% sure.
I know it's a lot.
Yeah.
And 2/3. Oh, there it is. 2/3 of Waynesville school students are military dependents. What does that kind of representation of our populace mean to you and you taking this job as state representative for the District 121? How does that make you think?
How does it make me think?
Or what does it make you consider? Well, maybe that's a bad question.
Well, I mean, we got to consider everybody, because the military, it does a lot for the area.
Sure.
It provides a lot of economic benefits for us, but we got to make sure that we take care of the other people too.
Sure.
Because it's if we don't take care of our regular population, then our regular population they'll realize that we're not taking care of them, and they'll leave. And then
it's kind of like the infrastructure.
It's
the infrastructure supporting the military family, the support system.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen this floating across the feeds? I've been seeing all these MAGA and Republican. I divide that. I'm very picky about that.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
There is a difference. Absolutely.
There's a difference. But I've been noticing on the Republican side and the MAGA side the new push to bring Doge back. Have you seen this?
I haven't. I have. So I try to stay not just within Missouri politics, but it is difficult to try and manage the federal level politics and then keep in touch with everything that happens.
Well, the only reason I bring it up right now, I think the hiring freeze at Fort Leonard Wood's been in place theoretically in practice, or mostly in practice, for quite a long time, ever since President Trump took over. And I don't know, and I haven't heard, I've been out of the loop for now over a year and stuff like that, what kind of impact that is. But I can imagine it's do more with less attitude is going to about wear out for some of those people on there. Yeah. And if civilian jobs at Fort Leonard would take a big hit, bigger than what they have already, what do you think your role in responding to that and providing support to those that are being impacted by those cuts? I stumped you. You did. That's a good.
It's a great question.
They'll be looking for answers, and basically, if the Fort Leonard Wood tosses them out, and they live in our communities and our neighborhoods and stuff like that, and there's not enough jobs here.
Yeah,
there's no job. Really there's no jobs for the civilians that pay like that. What are we going to do?
Well, we got to reinvest in our community without trying to turn into a big city. Let me make sure that I say that at the beginning. But we got to reinvest. We got to build infrastructure to make sure that we can provide opportunities. We can make sure that we support people, because the base is changing. Even right now, the 5th Engineer Battalion, they have either left already or they're about to leave, and they're going just TRADOC. So it's going to have changes.
Right.
But we just we have to plan accordingly. And I don't think it could be fair for me to try and plan that scenario out right now.
Okay. We're going to switch categories. We're doing a little math for you. In 2024, the Democrat in this race got 28% of the vote. Mm-hmm. What's your theory for how you plan to win this in November, and which voters you're pretty sure you're actually flipping to your campaign?
Well, so I think I can make great progress.
Right.
I can't guarantee a win because I'm not a magician, and I know I have an uphill battle. But the ways and the people that I've connected with in the community, not as an influential group of people that I'm connecting myself to, but as going out and just talking to people. The last thing I do whenever I talk to people is mention like my political stuff. What I do is I go out and I talk to people and I say, "Hey, I'm Miguel," and we talk like normal people.
Right.
And then if something comes up, it comes up. But the way that we make this is by having human interactions, not really by me standing on a stage and saying, soapbox speeches and all these
Mm-hmm.
other speeches that just they're while they can be good, it's not the most important thing.
Sure. Now, switching to the I-44 corridor.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to do some. Sorry. Give me a second.
Yep.
Got a glitch. Have you heard any feedback about the construction going on I-44?
About the ramp,
Yeah.
I believe. I haven't. No, I know they've been blowing stuff up, and I heard the sheriff's department complaining about it.
I heard the blow up. I don't know whether it's the planes going overhead some days or they're blowing that up because some of those are big.
Yeah, yeah.
County has lost most of its news. You got Daryl, and you got I consider us news adjacent.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of you accused me of being news today, and I just I wanted to bite back. I know I'm not. But I tried to fill a gap we've lost, and this Daryl doesn't have the capacity to do. And so, do you think not having coverage or the limited amount of coverage that the county has and the district has right now, is that a threat to the democracy, or is that a democracy problem? And what would a state or what would a state legislature do about it if you do?
Ooh, what could I do about it?
Yeah, you might not be able to do anything.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's not too much I can do. I can't really force people to go out there and cover the news.
Sure.
But I mean, news is important. It is how we communicate essentially in this day and age. It's how we get information to each other. With how many young people there are, internet is a big way to get news out. I know there's still people that read newspapers. I get the newspaper too, but just news is incredibly important for us to pass information around in the community. Because somebody can go and stick a flyer on one of those push pin boards in one of the areas around town, but not everybody goes to that area.
Right.
So news is incredibly important for the way that we communicate and just get information out there, especially whenever it comes to local ballot stuff. Like whenever the fire department was talking about their bond.
Yeah, there was no source for that. Luckily I was able to get Chief Fowler on the line. We was able to talk, and he come back to me a few times and said that he thought it may have pushed him over the edge. At least got the message out, the information out for people to make an informed decision.
Yeah, absolutely. He was all over the place. Actually, he came over to the Democratic Club.
He was everywhere.
Yeah, he was getting that message out there, and that's like you and Daryl all putting that stuff out there. Yeah, that's how we connect with people.
Well, that's kind of the way this came to my effort came to being. There was nobody putting it out there, and I was during one election for sheriff, I was unable to ask candidates questions, and I thought that was the most ridiculous thing I ever heard of it. And so I'll say, okay, I'll do my own thing, and now everybody can hear and talk to him, ask questions.
Yeah,
same with you.
Exactly. Yeah,
going to some hard policy questions. 173, 174. Now, and their verbiage, they're going to leave it to the people. We'll let us decide the income tax, sales tax issue.
So they say.
Yeah, I mean, what in your words does that mean come November? It's going to be on the ballot. It's going to be on the November ballot. Is that correct?
Yes,
okay.
It will be on the November ballot.
In your words, what does that mean?
Well, they're asked. So I've read the ballot language, and they say they are going to eliminate income tax, and then they're going to modify the sales tax, and it's their way of disguising their idea.
Is that the boss?
It's my kids.
Okay, hey, come online.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a weird way for them to do it. It's very poorly thought out, but yeah, it's just not a good plan.
The way they've gone about it, I find so irritating because it reminds me of when the legislature overturned the minimum wage and paid sick leave that 57% of the Missouri voters voted on.
Yep.
So if you win the election, you're in the minority in the chamber
Hmm.
that can do whatever it wants. What's the point of showing up?
To be the voice,
Yeah,
to be the challenge to them. So while I might be in the minority in this upcoming season,
sure.
I will be the voice that says, "Hey, this is wrong, and this is why it's wrong."
Right,
Because if there's nobody there to stand up and say, "This is a bad plan,"
right,
then there's going to be less people asking questions about it. Because whenever I go and I say, "This is wrong because of this,"
right.
somebody will come over and say, "Why? Why do you think that?" And what it does is it provokes thought.
Sure. And it's my opinion that when these touch, what do they call them, these hot button topics and stuff like that, like the
Hmm.
sales tax, internet tax,
Yep.
income tax, when it's been driven downward, pushed downward instead of pushed up, driven upwards, pushed downward because somebody thought of it was a great idea. The great idea fairy came up with this idea. In this case, our beloved government did. To say, we're going to do away with income tax. How are we going to do it? I don't care. I don't
Well,
care. It's like he delegated it to just get it done. I don't care.
yeah, yeah. Well, the only thing that they have in their bill to replace income tax, they also included property tax in there as like a later kind of
Sure.
thing for them, but it just won't be attainable.
I
Is what
cannot
it will be.
imagine the ramifications here in Pulaski County of doing away property tax that
Yeah,
pays for about everything in the county building.
yeah, and a lot of us have issues with property tax.
Sure.
We don't like property tax in the way that it's been done, and I think property tax is a good tax to an extent.
Sure.
But if we any tax is bad if we lean on it too much.
Especially if it's not evenly distributed and those that have a bigger share pay their fair share.
Hmm.
Going
Yep.
back to the when where do you stand on Amendment 3? The Amendment 3, the abortion rematch is coming.
So this year they have Amendment 3, which it is different. It's the opposing answer to keep abortion, and that is to vote no.
Right.
And so they have integrated trans issues into this. And I believe that people should just be left alone. People need to be able to do what they want
Sure.
because like how can the party that says the government needs to stay out of our lives be trying so hard to interfere in people's lives? But I mean, to answer your question, I support abortion. There's no reason
Right.
for us to force people to have children because if people aren't ready to have children,
Mm-hmm.
the children could be born into bad situations. And whenever children are born into bad situations, they end up in the system. And nobody wants to put more children in the system.
I appreciate your boldness in your answer and commitment to it. One last thing on this topic. What's the one thing about the district that Jefferson City completely misunderstands, that in your words?
The historic value
Yeah.
of this district. There's so much history between the Trail of Tears, Route 66, that right off the interstate. They could invest in this community, like redoing the Rubidoux Bridge. That thing alone, if we fix that, along with the beautiful Rubidoux Park, it could be such a driver to
Right.
bring people downtown and invest in our small businesses.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Now I'm going to pause here a little bit, and if anybody's got any questions for Miguel, if you want to add anything at your level, I'm going to open the mic up to you, Miguel. So go ahead, and if you do have questions, yeah, I'm sorry, but if you did want, I'm going to leave you an open mic if you want to say anything, Miguel, before we wrap it up.
Yeah. One thing I do have to say is Amendment 4 this year. I believe it's Amendment 4. There's so many amendments right now. But they are trying to change the way that our initiative petition process is done. And they're trying to make it where instead of a simple majority across the state, you have to get a majority in each of the, I believe it's 8 congressional districts.
Right.
And it will make it'll cut the legs off of our petitioning process.
Wow.
So if you value the ability to petition and try to get something that's by citizens on the ballot, then please look into it and let's preserve that process.
Okay. What we didn't touch on was crime, and I wish I wanted to. I can get. For those that don't know, me and Miguel were talking offline a little bit. And, my plan is to have a couple of discussion roundtable, virtual discussions with everybody in the Democratic Party that's running for office in our districts in our county. And but I'd also like to bring in at certain venues during our meetings as subject matter experts in our county, and then this would be basically Sheriff Ball to talk about crime. And while it popped into my head, I don't know why I hit just the chat thing, just going goofy again. Dang it, and late. Oh, Jesse West, too sucks to be you. Oh, no, welcome aboard, Jesse. That's all right. We were talking about you, but just hit rewind tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Yeah. But speaking of crime in Pulaski County and District 121, what's your thought on the state of things right now, based on what you have observed, your travels, you're talking with everybody, and I'm assuming you've met with the sheriff and municipal police department chiefs?
Mm-hmm. So I haven't gotten to talk face-to-face with them, or one-on-one at least.
Sure. I
have attended the sheriff's community things.
Yeah, seen you there.
And I got to give it to him. He does work on crime around the area. But I feel like the crime's not overly bad here, but there's always room for improvement.
Sure. Homelessness situation. What I see, some posts. Is Rudy going against you?
Yes.
Okay,
yep.
him and Mr. Oh, come on! I interviewed him anyway. Works at the bank. Who's the other Republican?
Oh, Keith Pritchard.
Yeah, Keith Pritchard. Yeah, those two are running against you. But I just thought of the homelessness situation in Pulaski County, and one of my research efforts was to figure out how big the problem was. I see a lot of happy posts about putting up these food stands and stuff like that around the county, but I can never get an answer as to exactly how big or what was the depth of the water regarding this issue. What's your opinion?
Well, I think community outreach is great, so I won't shake a stick at that.
Sure.
But I do think if everybody goes off and makes their own, benefit group or organization to benefit those, then it detracts. It detracts from other organizations. Because if we all just came together and had one organization that worked towards it, it would be much more beneficial. But I think the food donations are great.
Right.
But it's a Band-Aid. It's not addressing the issue. It's what we should be doing is saying, hey, how do I get this person into housing? How do I get this person gainfully employed? How do I make sure that, this person doesn't end up back on the streets? Because all it does is it takes one bad month.
Sure.
And people end up on the streets. It's not always because of drug abuse. It's not always because of, just there's a million circumstances that could lead you to be on the street. And what we should be doing is trying to mitigate that rather than just slap a Band-Aid on it and say, hey, I'm giving back, but I'm not really pushing for the benefit.
Sure.
Or pushing for mitigation.
Well, it's like I was speaking of as to the challenge of, or one of the first parts of solving a problem is figuring out how the scope of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
the part of my investigative efforts that fell upon deaf ears when I reached out to the Coalition for Homelessness was to figure out, well, how many homeless do we have?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I've heard of a couple encampments
Right.
around the area, and I'm not going to name them because I don't want
Sure.
anybody
Sure.
being targeted, because I know that some people view it differently than others. I there's some stigma that
Mm-hmm.
goes along with thinking that homeless people are less than,
Right.
and that's just not true. We should be trying to help those people, because once we help those people can help contribute to our community as well. They can tell their stories, and they can help prevent other people from being put in that situation.
Especially in this quote unquote Bible Belt that we live in.
Yep.
You would think, but it goes back. Well, how? And I'm reiterating this with as my biggest frustration dealing with the issue was, how big is the problem?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
maybe you could dig into that. As you're going around, you take a grasp of things in the district.
Yeah.
How big a problem we're looking at? Because we, just like you said, we can throw money at it, but if we don't know how much money we need, how many
Yeah.
do we have? That's the bad way to start off problem solving process.
Yeah. Exactly. We got to start off with the root issues.
Awesome. I got some questions coming up from our viewers coming along, but
All right.
it's still my time, so leave me alone, Jennifer.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. End of federal COVID money coming through. Read my notes. Sometimes I can't read my own writing. Then I scan it, and that's speed limit. What's your opinion on the speed limit changing to 75? It's going through the House.
So frankly, I have been on the interstate, and I've seen people driving. I like you guys, but we do not need a speed limit increase. There's much more important issues that we should be addressing than trying to up the speed limit, because you're that little difference in the speed limit, it's going to make it more dangerous, and it's maybe going to cut maybe a minute off of drive time.
That's what's so funny. When I used to work on post, and I used to ride the motorcycle on post, and they would just race and race and race to get to the gate, and I would take my time just for a self problem, just thinking about it, and we get to the gate at the same time. I putter along, just doing the turtle, and the rabbits, all the rabbits and the hares and stuff, just zinging around playing checkers, putting their lipstick on. And the funny part, and I think Jesse, you ride. And those out that you're riding, I put like a 132 decibel air horn on my Honda. So whenever they started getting too close to me and putting that makeup on, it scared the bejesus out of them.
Yeah.
So we're going with Jennifer Adams' question. If they do away with property tax, how's the school district and the extracurriculars funded? How do they plan to replace school funding?
So this is the problem, right? They don't think about anything past the elimination. So I have no idea how they will plan. I know that in their bill, they said that municipalities can also increase sales tax. But again, literally nobody is asking for that increase. Nobody wants that increase. And I would never want to do that to people. It's insane for all of the people to be a second thought to this elimination.
All right, great. Does that answer your question, Jennifer? If not, try again next time and roll the dice, see if you actually get answered. So, just kidding. You remember, we are satirical and we're sarcastic. So you tuned in, and you knew that coming in if you read some of our threads today and our hurt feelings. Miss Alabi, what are Miguel's top 3 priorities if elected?
So my top 3 priorities, number 1 is fixing the tax structure, because that is the root of all of our issues. Second is trying to reinvest into our communities, because we literally have a lack of reinvestment. And then my third one, it's just trying to put people first.
Right.
That's I mean, it's the like cumulative of all of it, is that we haven't put people first in so long.
No, I got to admit, and it's my opinion, we put party first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
everybody wants to wear their winning team jersey.
Well, sure.
And it's people are an afterthought nowadays.
And let's see if I got anything else for you. Anybody else out there? Jesse West, what do you have planned economically with Fort Leonard Wood losing 90% of its active duty by the end of the summer, specifically the school district that seems to be in front of the skis? Has there any thought been put out to combine St. Robert and Waynesville so that we can compete with Lebanon and Rolla as far as gaining industry here? That's I'll let you read that again. You got it on your screen, I assume.
Do I?
You should have in the chat window.
Yeah,
if you're fine, I can read it again.
Yeah.
The first part. What do you have planned for economic? What do you have planned economically with Fort Leonard Wood losing 90% of his active duty by the end of the summer?
Mm-hmm. It's tough. That is that's a tough question. I'm not really sure because I can't come up with that on a whim. And I won't sit here and lie to you and act like I have every answer in the book, because that's just not true. And anybody that tells you that is a liar. How we do it is by supporting our small businesses. The more small business activity that we get, the better that we can, just continue to do things, because every time we spend money at these large corporations, they just send it out of state. So if we keep more money here local, it'll be better for us. But as for like addressing the issue as a whole,
right,
we would have to expand the city. Now for Waynesville and St. Robert joining, I
think that was tried a long time ago.
That's a tough one. I have heard people mention it. They think that we will eventually merge, but I don't know how much it would benefit us to merge.
Right.
Because the money's still there. It's just changing one name or two names into one.
We do a lot of things together, but I know that now St. Robert's kind of eclipsed Waynesville in the last decade. Now Waynesville's catching. Waynesville made a lot of progress.
Yeah.
And Mayor Sean, I got to give that guy, and Mayor Luge, Hartman, they kicked some butt. Waynesville's come a long way in my opinion.
Yeah.
It looks really nice. Hey, let's talk healthcare. Let's talk healthcare. I see one of my favorite senators, Josh, is in the news talking about the rural healthcare and how important it is to him, despite the one big fancy destructive bill.
Yeah.
There's that sarcasm again. God bless it. Shut up, Jesse. Anyway, they got the. What's your thoughts on what's going on with rural healthcare?
So I know that I have seen posts about rural hospitals either getting ready to or shutting down.
Right.
So I don't know where their thought process with it was. I think again it was just elimination with people as an afterthought, which seems to be a weird trend in government.
Yeah, isn't it though?
Like we're doing it backwards. But it's problematic for sure. I don't know if Lebanon or Rolla will be affected. I doubt that the Ozarks will be affected by it because they got a lot of money up there.
Sure.
But we need more care here in Waynesville and St. Robert, because while Fort Leonard Wood has this trauma care and we have a large military population, we still need more like specialty care for people around here, just because there's 20% of our population doesn't have a means of transportation. Wow. So that means 20% of those people are unable to travel to either Lebanon or Rolla to try and get healthcare access. So we need to do something about healthcare in this area specifically, because right now we're hanging out in the middle, but it's not a good place to be.
What's the? I'm unfamiliar as far as specifics of the services provided by the new hospital in Fort Leonard Wood. Are you familiar? Who is that tailored to?
What is it?
The new hospital on Fort Leonard Wood.
It's only for active duty.
Okay.
No, it should be for everybody.
Okay.
And then I heard word that they planned on tearing down the old hospital, in which I think it's probably a bad idea because they've been maintaining it for so long. Which I'm sure it has some issues.
I think it's asbestos related, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think it would be better suited to turn it into a VA hospital,
right,
for the area, because we have such a concentration of veterans in the area. And then with the old VA center, we could turn that into like a community hospital for specialty care or something.
Sure.
Something for the area, because we really we lack in the healthcare aspect of this area.
It's going to be the parking lot, Jesse says. Is that the old hospital? It would not surprise me.
Yeah. The Good Idea Ferry is alive and well.
Oh, yeah. Oh. And that's part of your material, too, I'm telling you. Mm-hmm. It really is going to be a heck of a year this year. So if we got some more questions, thanks, Jesse. I appreciate that. We're going to hang around here for a little bit more. We've been on live for almost an hour. And first and foremost, Miguel, thank you for joining us tonight. With the floor is always open. You want to chit chat, and I'd like to get Dr. Sliders up online, both of you online, and then we're. Like I said, we'll have our little collaboration effort with everybody on the Democratic side running for office in our county and our districts, and just talk about the way things everybody thinks it should be.
So. Yeah. I mean, so if I leave you guys with anything,
mm-hmm.
I want to say that we have forgotten how to take care of people.
Right.
We've forgotten how to put people first, and somehow they've convinced us that business first or pro-business is going to make our state better. And it's not. It's going to hurt so many people, and all it's going to do is send our money out of state. And we need that money here. We need it for small businesses. We need it for reinvestment in our communities if we want to keep living here.
Definitely. Well, having no further questions, I'm going to log everybody off, and I want to appreciate everybody. This will be recorded and posted to Facebook for up to 30 days, but you can also watch it on our YouTube channel. Just Google Pulaski Talks, and it'll be on whatever device you're trying to use. It'll either be vertical or horizontal. You can watch it to your heart's content. Please subscribe to our website, PulaskiTalks.com. It's a free subscription. You'll see our posts from Jack and Goose, my engineers. Had a good article they just put together talking about the 4 candidates for this office and the main differences.
Campaign finances.
The campaign finances
are important.
And Jack and Goose are digging into the campaign finances, and they are interesting. Nothing really revealing, but nobody's been doing that for a while. And we talk about Daryl. He's a one-man show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't be 2 places at once.
No, and we were trying to broadcast everything that's going on in the county, but me driving the tonner around and making $8 a month from Facebook for the videos. And for five people to watch it just wasn't worth it. But we had a lot of viewers there. We were up to 25 there for a while. So this usually wraps up about 1,500 by the night's over. So
good.
Any other questions, Jesse? Watch it later. If you want to chime in and join us with the co-host, Jesse, I know you got some experience out there doing some race style and some not Jim Jordan. Against some NASCAR announcers. Giddy up. What's his name? You know who I'm talking about. Come on, Jesse. I know you got to be a NASCAR fan, race car track. Not Dale Earnhardt. Anyway, we can be my Dale Earnhardt. Well, it's the color commentary. Make this stuff kick. So anyway, we're going to let everybody go. Thank you, everybody. Miguel, until next time, brother. And thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.